All right, and good morning, pro traders. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, depending, of course, on where you are in the world. This is Christopher Guzman, your host, joining you live. Before we get started, you know the drill, folks. If you can hear my voice and see the screen without issue, please do let me know with a Y or yes. And it looks like, hey, good morning, Oscar. All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and jump right in. No time to waste. I have been looking at this pound Aussie. Yesterday, I had said I was on about this support level yesterday, and how this support level was of big concern to me. It turned out that that was a pretty justifiable thing, really, because have a look, right? We broke through the support, and then this morning we're actually getting a buy signal. But my hesitation with taking the buy signal this morning was the fact that uh, you know past support becomes future resistance, right? Now, the buy signal itself appears to have occurred off of this previous candle right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and measure this out, and then I'm going to talk about why I'm now interested in this, right? If it's not clear already, the reason I'm interested in this, of course, is because of the fact that we've broken back above support, right? So that now interests me again because what it means is it validates um, the signal essentially, right? Because I never want to take a buy when I'm right at resistance, and likewise I never want to take a sell, or if I can help it, I never want to take a sell when I'm right at support, right? It's kind of counterintuitive to do it that way. I've added an additional 5 pips. Again, that's kind of a new rule to counteract the market volatility, the increased market volatility that we typically see this time of year anyway. But particularly with everything going on in the world, we're definitely seeing more of it now. If you look as well, that additional 5 pips also just gives me a little bit more of a buffer there, to break this counter down trend line here, which is going to be important if this is going to indeed continue the rally, right? Now, in terms of the capitals here, we are in an up AB boundary. We do have an unfulfilled 38.2% to the downside there at 181.36. But again, this major level of support right here, what's happening, I said in here, that I'm looking at a potential buy zone right in here. And if we just extend this literally just said this yesterday. So if we literally just extend this out, you can see this is exactly what I'm talking about. The reason for that, though, is because if you expand this out, what do you see? Well, you see consolidation, don't you? Right, where we have 1, 2, 3 instances of resistance and plenty of instances of support at, again, what is a very good support level, right? So I'm going to go ahead and see what risk I've got here, right? So to do that, of course, I'm just going to grab my entry price, my anticipated entry price, 82.80 and 82.36, my anticipated stop. That's 44 pips in risk. So I want to go for 66 in reward. And so that's going to put me at 83.46, which is a little bit ambitious, to be honest. That's a little bit ambitious, in my opinion, that target. Little bit on the ambitious side, only because of the fact that we have this consolidation range here with, of course, major resistance right there, right? So, it's not to say that I wouldn't take this and target that level. I still would. But what I would probably do is I'm probably going to set, in fact, I'll do it now before I do anything else. I'll set a horizontal ray line at the highest of these highs in the consolidation range. So right there. Okay. Yeah, you can make it thin. You don't even really need to see it. My purpose in doing this is really just mainly for the alert, right? And so what I can do is put an alert, and I can say, right, crossing. Um, yeah, we can just leave it at crossing only once. Notify an app, show pop up, perfect. And so this one, what I'd put here is I'd put manage Pound Aussie profits, right? And so basically, you know, what I'm saying there is as the market gets to that level, TradingView will automatically alert me. And so I'll be able to then go in and move my stop to perhaps lock in some profit, or depending on the situation at the time, maybe even just get out altogether and, you know, call it a day, right? In profit. So let me go ahead and set this up. It's first signal of the morning. This is a pound Aussie. All right, so once again, I'm looking at my potential stop at 1.8236. My potential take profit at 1.8346. And I'm looking at an entry by stop in here at 1.8280. There we go. Okay, perfect. So that's all set up. Okay. So that's pound Aussie. And I just want to check something here. So on our new website, which I touched a little bit on yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and show you this again this morning, because what we're going to do is we're here in the trading tools section of the new website. Okay. And what I want to show you this morning in particular is this currency correlation tool. So if I just click on the currency correlation tool, this will bring me down to here. I can come down to my hourly chart, and I just placed a pound Aussie. And so what I want to look for here is I'm on the pound Aussie column here, right? And what I want to do is I want to look for anywhere, here it is again, anywhere where I have 80 or above. And that can be 80 in terms of, you know, positive 80, minus 80, it doesn't matter. Thanks, Wendy. Doesn't really matter in this case, right? And in this particular, I actually don't see anything. There's no correlation, at least on an hourly basis. There's no correlation to anything else. Now on a 4-hour time frame, so, you know, bigger picture here, you know, we're moving pretty much in sync with pound yen and pound kiwi. And outside of that, I don't really see, so yeah, just pound yen and pound New Zealand in terms of the correlation on the 4-hour time frame. And then on the 5-minute, let's go pound Aussie. Aussie yen, we have a negative correlation with Aussie yen, so they're moving opposite each other, which obviously that has to do with the Aussie. So it's the Aussie that's driving pound Aussie. That's what that tells me. See, and that's further proven because if you look here, you know, we have a negative 85 correlation with Aussie dollar as well, and darn near close on the Kiwi dollar too. So that's not, you know, 3 points off is not terrible. Aussie CAD, yeah, look. So it's actually the Aussie. What that tells me is that the Aussie seems to be moving pretty much in sync. So what I'm going to do is let's put the KickStart platform away for a second. And let's turn for a moment here. I want to turn to the Aussies just very quickly. So let me go to the Aussies. Before I do, let me just check something because I think, yeah, I've been taken in on pound Aussie. So let me go ahead and mark this off. One thing I forgot to mention about pound Aussie is that I do like the target. I do still like the target, even though I think it's ambitious for just one, you know, one session. I do like the target because obviously it's in line, it's in route to the unfulfilled 38.2%, right? So in any event, let me go ahead and mark this off. So it signifies that this is an active position for me. Okay. And there we go. So that's pound Aussie. See, I'm seeing a little bit of a push there on pound Kiwi as well. Ah, okay. On the 5-minute time frame, there's a 91% positive correlation, meaning they're moving in the same direction with between pound Kiwi and pound Aussie. On the hourly, though, there's no correlation at all. So this is obviously just a very short-term thing that we're looking at here in terms of this similar movement. But the pound Kiwi does give me a buy signal right here. And actually, I do like it because of where we are in terms of the fibs, and also because of where we are. Those are the sub fibs. The capital fibs is an 86%. But also in terms of where we are in relation to support, right? We have support, 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 support. So four different instances of support holding. My concern is that, you know, there is a little bit of resistance there, that you've got a couple of instances of resistance too. And what I don't want is to get in this right at a time when it's just about to start going very, very sideways, right? So what I want to do is down in here, okay, you see this cross? That cross right there, it appears to be off of this candle right here. That's the confirming candle. So let me go ahead and measure this candle, measure this out using this candle. Again, I'm adding the 5 pips to the north for that added buffer, right? So instead of 10 pips above, which would put me at 58, I'm going to add an additional 5 pips, which would put me at 63. Okay, 63. And then I'll drop this 10 pips. This will remain 10 pips. I'll drop this 10 pips down to 94.18. And then 94.63 and 94.18. That's a 45 pip difference. So I should be going after 67 in reward. So 95.30, 1.9530. Not a bad target. Not a bad target, to be honest. Not a bad, I don't think that's a bad target at all. So $94.18 is what I want. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and I've got it. Oh, actually, whoops, hang on. Oh yeah, 95.30. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this up. I've got to be quick about this if I want to get in on the move, because it's moving. Shoot, I may actually have to take this at market. 94.18 for my stop. 95.30 for my take profit. Yeah, and I've bought at market at exactly 94.63 because otherwise I would, you know, I would miss the opportunity. So 94.63 is exactly my entry point on this. Now I'm keeping a close eye on that correlation coefficient there, because once they start diverging, then, you know, it's all bets are off, right? Okay, so that's pound Aussie and pound Kiwi. I'm going to take a look at I'm going to jump ship and go over to the Aussies, because again, it appears as though the Aussies seem to be moving very much in sync with each other this morning. And you can see that's true. Look at this. There's sell signals across the board on all of the Aussie pairs. So let's go and dive right in. Aussie CAD. We'll start there. Ooh. Okay, so lovely on Aussie CAD, because we have an unfulfilled 38.2% to the upside. We've also got the King's Crown formation in terms of the sub fibs right here. So this is my A, my new A. I've got to adjust that. That's not the new A. I think there's a lower candle. Is it? Oh no, maybe I'm right. Ah, no, I'm right. Never mind. Don't second guess myself. See? So there's the new AB boundary. So you can see, you know, the obvious target sort of straight away. The obvious target here is the unfulfilled 38.2, isn't it? So, and that's at 0.93479 to be exact. 0.93479. It's also broken through all three of these trend lines here, these downtrend lines. So I mean, it's, you know, it seems pretty ripe for a pullback, right? Seems fairly ripe for a pullback. So go ahead and put some additional trend lines in here, the uptrend lines, just so I can see where my support is. Very important. And then in here, I'll come in here with an innermost trend line, like so. So you can see there is a decent amount of support there, but that's the, you know, the point of the pending orders, isn't it? You can see as well, I don't quite have the signal just yet. The MACD is already calling it, but in terms of out in the field, I don't quite have the signal just yet. Okay, so I need to wait for this current candle. However, what I will be able to do is I will be able to use this current candle, right, to start measuring this out. And then, you know, obviously with the understanding that I'm probably going to have to make adjustments by the time we get to the close of the candle, right? So 15 pips above is going to put me at 94.15 for a potential stop. Oops. I mean, I subtracted then. Sorry. 94.45. Let's go the other way. There we go. 94.45 for a stop. And then 10 pips below this put me at 94.13 for an entry. Yeah, so you see that basically gives the market some time to, and some room to do what it needs to do to confirm that signal, right? 94.45, 94.13. It's 32 pips in risk, which means 48 in reward. So 93.65, 0.9365. It's not bad. I mean, there's a good amount of support in the way. So, you know, this may be one where I'll set the target there and then just kind of take whatever I can get for it. You know what I mean? Set the target initially and then just, you know, actively monitor and manage the position, right? Hold on. What's this? Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and update these. Don't really even need these to be on here anymore, to be honest. It's really just this one that's most relevant. Okay. So that's the setup on Aussie CAD. Just bear with me one moment here. Just checking something. Okay. I was just checking the correlation again. We're still okay on pound Aussie and pound Kiwi in terms of the correlation there. Right. Come back to the Aussies. Okay, so that's Aussie CAD. I'm going to go ahead and set that one up. Like I said, there's a good amount of support, but it's, you know, that just means that it's one of those that I'm going to have to actively monitor, right? So we've got the close of the candle now. It ended up closing exactly where it was. So there's no need to adjust anything. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and look to place this. So this is Aussie CAD. And I'm looking at a potential stop at 0.9445, potential take profit at 0.9365. Then I'm looking at an entry sell stop at 0.9413. Okay. Perfect. Then on Aussie yen, looks like we're getting a sell signal there as well in a downtrend, which is nice. Yeah, we're definitely getting sell signals across the board on the Aussie. So Aussie weakness, which helps my cause on pound Aussie. Now we've just quickly on pound Aussie, we've just broken that trend line. So it's natural that we get a little bit of a pullback, right? That's totally normal. Okay. Just FYI. Going back over to the Aussies. Let me jump over. I think I'll jump to Aussie dollar first because that seems to be, looks like it's giving off the cleanest signal. So let me jump over to Aussie dollar and let's see what we've got. So, okay, overall downtrend here from the look of it. I'm gonna start from that high. Is it the highest high right there? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Right. So from there, they're pretty similar though. So it's probably going to be a case of getting rid of that top one. Just going like that. There we go. Okay. And I'm obviously going to have to adjust that to here. Like so. There we go. That's correct. That's perfect. Right. So from that high, I'm going to go ahead and start spreading my fibs. Okay. So from the highest high to the first official low, we're on our way. That's our first AB. 86% down to the 118. Initially, a super shallow one toe turns into a double dipper and then falls subsequently to its anticipated D beautifully. And we get a 5.0 and a 1.618 right there. Then we have a reversal in here from the look of it. Yeah, so there's reversal number one. So I can skip ahead because I know that my new fibs are realistically going to be A, 2, let's get this one, B. 71.91. I just want to double check that. 71.91. 71.93. Perfect. Yep. Okay. So that's my new fib. Super shallow one toe. Market ends up coming back in. Doesn't come back to quite to that 38.2 though, and has actually been kind of stuck there, by resistance, right? Resistance is really held here. It prevented this from going any further. Now, in terms of the subs, I need to go ahead and see what those look like, right? So, but I know these are my capitals. So let me just mark these off before I go any further. I know these are my capitals here. Capital A, capital B, maximum 23.6, just there. Okay. Actually, no, it's over here. Sorry, over here. But still, obviously, still a max 23.6. Okay. Right. Now, what I want to do, okay, there's no need to waste time here because I can already see there's tons of reversals here. So realistically, what we have going on is we've got, oops, hang on. We've got a nice little consolidation range in here. All right, nice little consolidation range going. That's what we're looking at. And so in terms of, the new fibs, I'm going to go from that high. I'm going to try from that high and see if I can get, solid fibs there. Otherwise, I'm just going to go from the low and measure just the most recent uptrend, right? Let's get in closer. There we are. Gonna have to adjust that. And again, gonna have to adjust it again to here. 5.0 down to a 1.618 just there. Like so. So then we get a super shallow 23.6. Doesn't quite make it down to that 2.618 and has actually, what it's done, look at that. What it's done is it's come back to the 38.2%. So my target right now is actually down here, which supports a sell 70825. 0.70825. That is the 15-minute anticipated sub 0.618. Okay. Now I do want to just come in here with an uptrend line just to see where my support lies. Although that also looks like a double top right there. Hang on. Is it? Not quite. That is the higher of the two. But if it's within 5 pips or so, so 7158, 7151. Oh no, sorry. Oh no, what am I saying? 7157. So I was looking at the open price. 7157. Yeah. So that's a double top, folks. That's a double top. That's a bearish formation. And you can see there's obviously an even tighter consolidation range in here too. Right? It's obviously good support there. Right, let me go ahead and see where the signal is here. Okay, it looks as though it actually has occurred off of this candle here, this doji. Yeah, so let me go ahead and use this as my candle for measurement. 15 pips above puts me at 71.66 for a potential stop. 10 pips below puts me at 71.36 for a potential entry. Obviously 30 pips in risk there, so 45 in reward, which means I'm going to be targeting 7091, which I very much like. I really like this signal. I'm going to go ahead and set it up. Really like it. Aussie dollar, US dollar. It's right in line with that anticipated sub 1.618. It's, it's not disturbing the order of the consolidation range or anything. We're not calling for, a major breakout of a consolidation range or anything like that. Looks pretty clean, we do have support again, we do have support, but you're always going to have support. It's just one of those. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. This is Aussie dollar, US dollar. And I'm looking at a potential stop at 0.7166 with a potential take profit at 0.7091. And I'm looking to place a pending order here, entry sell stop at 0.7136. Okay, so I've gone ahead and set that one up as well. So I've got Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar. And then it does look like Aussie Swiss seems pretty ripe for a potential sell as well. I'll come back to that though. I just want to get a little update here on the pounds, see what's going on. So pound Aussie, okay, again, totally natural to see that. We've broken the counter trend line. We know, that almost requires a test, right? It almost requires that the market come back to retest. So it's, this is totally normal. I've got nothing to worry about yet, right? Notice I said yet. I didn't say I didn't have anything to worry about full stop. I just said nothing yet, right? There's nothing to worry about there that I can see. And then let me actually check on the Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi, because in theory, those should be moving similarly too. They seem to be at first glance there. I will go ahead and consult with our tool here. Let's go to the hourly first. Euro NZD. We want Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie. Okay, here we go. So Euro Aussie. There's Euro Aussie. There's Euro NZD. Yeah, see that? We've got about a 90% correlation coefficient there. I mean, a 90 point there. Correlation coefficient. On the 5 minute, again, we'll come over here. We'll have a look. We'll find Euro Aussie. We'll go down to 100 and we'll move over Euro NZD. Yeah, so 5 minute and the hourly are tracking similarly. So that means that if there is opportunity on Euro Aussie or Euro Kiwi, then there's potential, you know, that there's going to be opportunity on both. There's a good chance there's going to be opportunity on both. Euro Swiss actually seems to be moving similarly too. Let me double check that. Okay, so Euro Swiss, there's actually no correlation there with Euro Swiss. Yeah, no, none whatsoever. None. None on the 5 minute, and yeah, none on the hold on. There we go. None on the hourly either whatsoever. But the Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi certainly do appear to be tracking together. So let me go ahead and take a look and see. Okay, so Euro Aussie, this is actually, this was one that really did my head in a bit yesterday, because you can see I got stopped out initially. I got stopped out there. I ended up getting in again, and so you know, it worked out beautifully the second go, but obviously I only got you know, what I got because the first one popped me. That stop was a little bit too tight, which I was a little bit concerned about that because of the cluster of highs right there. I was a little bit concerned about that, but you know, I was just trying to follow the letter of the strategy, right? Just trying to follow it to a letter. Although, you know, I did have a, you know, a nagging sense that that stop was going to be too tight, but that's right. Like I said, I got in again, went to the target, and it's done. Euro Aussie's done exactly what I've been anticipating that it would do, and what we were talking about yesterday, which is two things. A, it's come back to the unfulfilled 38.2%, right, which was of course something that we were looking at. And B, it's also come back to the secondary trend line. We know, based on what I teach you inside of the Ultimate Forex Trading course, that whenever the market breaks one trend line, it tends to make its way toward the next available trend line, right? And so that appears to be exactly what it's done, okay? And I am starting to get a buy signal now that we're in the vicinity of support here. I am starting to get a buy signal. Obviously with a pullback currently, but again, that's totally normal, right? That's to be expected with a big push like that. So let me go ahead and find out where the buy signal is. We've also crowned in terms of the sub fibs here, right? So you can see that sub A was taken out predictably. So here's the new sub A to sub B. Okay, and then there's the, it does have a fulfilled sub 38.2% already. It does have that. So this actually could continue to fall, you know, down to that 1.618. But if support holds here, then there, you know, and the signal is reasonable and it's not, you know, like a crazy signal sending me to the moon, right? Then it's still going to be something that I'll consider, certainly. But it just can't be something that, you know, it can't be something where the profit target is like, you know, miles away, continents away, right? So let me go ahead in here and have a look. So it appears to be off of this candle, this bullish engulfing right here. So let me measure this out. Of course, I'm marking off the high and the low. Again, I'm adding the 5 pips to the north for added protection. So normally this would put me at 65.01. Instead, it's going to put me at 65.06 for an entry point. 10 pips below the low for the stop is going to put me at 64.62. And so $44 in risk, which means 66 in reward. So 65.72 is what I'm looking at here. 65.72. And it's not terrible because, again, it's not, you know, it turns out it's not something that's trying to send me to the moon here, right? It's actually a play just right back to resistance right there, which I think is pretty reasonable. And considering it's a Euro Aussie and I'm looking at Aussie weakness this morning, or at least perceived Aussie weakness, and that would make sense, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up as well. This is Euro Aussie. And I'm putting my potential stop at 164.62, potential take profit at 165.72. And I'm looking at an entry buy stop at 1.6506. Okay, there we go. So that's in place. And then I did want to look at Euro NZD as well, as they are or do appear to be moving together. Euro NZD worked out beautifully for me yesterday. That was a lovely trade, right to the target, no issues, no problems, no moaning or messing about. Straight to my target. That's what we like to see. Now this has what was I going to say then? This has crowned. That's it. The subs have crowned yet again. And it's not hard to see why, right? If you kind of zoom your eyes out a little bit and try to find the bigger picture here, you can see that there is a bit of a consolidation range that we're looking at, and that we've actually broken out of. We appear to have broken out of with this most recent fall, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just clean this up before I go any further. So I want to make sure I'm looking at clean chart, right? As clean a chart as I can. Just clean all this up in here. We'll have to adjust this. And it's now no longer a broken down trend line, so we'll have to update that as well. Okay. This one is broken, obviously, but it's not really something that's relevant. You know, it's going to be relevant anytime soon. It may become relevant again, but it's not something that's relevant now. This is no longer relevant. So you see how I'm able to clean up the chart nicely, right? You want to keep clean charts, folks. Trust me. You don't want messy charts. Believe me. It makes a difference. It really does. So it looks like I'm operating off a doji again on this one. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because usually that means it's a, you know, a tighter trade. So 68.73, right? Because I'm adding the 5 pips. So 75.73 for my potential entry. 10 pips below is 75.38. $35 in risk, so 52 in reward. So 76.25. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go ahead and set this one up as well. I do have a couple of reservations about it, but I'll talk about that in a second. Euro NZD, looking at 1.7538 for a potential stop, 1.7625 for my profit target, And then I'm looking at an entry by stop at 1.7573. Right, so my concern here is just with regard to where the target is in relation to that downtrend line, which is obviously proven to be relatively good resistance, right? The market's not trended above that trend line in over a week, right? So obviously that didn't stop me from placing the order. I still placed the order. And what I'm going to do is just like what you saw me do before, I'm going to add an alert to help me, manage this, right? So this is Euro NZD, manage profits. And I want it crossing the trend line only once. And I could actually do it. I'll leave it at once. I'll just leave it at once because that should be enough. I don't need it to be nagging me all day. All right, so I've gone ahead and placed an alert on that trend line. Okay, so now I know if I do get taken in on this, now I know, once it reaches a certain point, I know that I can come in and manage it, right? Whether that be moving my stop loss, either to break even or, up further to mitigate the risk, the existing risk, and then to eventually eliminate it. Or depending on the situation, if it shows that, if it looks like it's really going to tank the other way, because it's hit resistance and it just looks like resistance is really going to hold, then I'll consider just closing out altogether. That's another option as well, right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and come back to the KickStart trading platform. We'll go ahead and give this a refresh. And I'm going to once again, it's still loading. Give it a second because what it'll do is it'll bring it right back to the correlation tool. There we go. And so I'm just checking in on the 5-minute time frame. So I'm currently still active. I'm active on pound Aussie and pound Kiwi. So I of course want to know, do we still have correlation? And yeah, we do. Look, we have an 87.7 positive correlation there. So they are moving together, which is good. Aussie CAD and Aussie dollar. And then, so I want to check on my Aussies again, right? So let's come over to here. And we want to see, let's start with Aussie yen. Then we're just going to come down and find, okay, so there's the baseline right there that I'm going to use, right? Because that's 100, that's Aussie yen. So now I'm just going to look for all my Aussies on that axis there, right? So Aussie dollar, 92. Pound Aussie, as close to 80 as you can get, right? Without it actually being 80. Interestingly, Aussie Kiwi, yeah, but there's nothing there, but that's because of the Kiwi. Okay, and then if we go to the Aussie secondary pairs, right? So actually there's Aussie dollar as a baseline. Yeah, you see Aussie yen moving perfectly with Aussie yen. It actually no longer has anything to do with pound Aussie on the 5-minute. So on the really short term, it's actually got nothing to do with pound Aussie anymore. Okay, and then on the hourly, let me just check on the hourly here as well. Yeah, so it does appear to be just a very, very short-term thing that I'm looking at here. So I want to keep that in mind, right, as we get going here, right? I want to definitely keep that in mind that I'm looking at short-term. Right, so let me come in here and check on my pound crosses, see what's going on there. So pound Aussie. Okay, again, totally normal, right? We've come right back to support, right back to support. As long as that support level holds, I am still A-okay. Okay, as long as that support level holds, I am still A-okay. If that support level fails, then I'm probably in trouble. I'm probably up a particular creek without a paddle, right? If that support fails. But as long as it holds, I should be okay. You know what else seems to be moving together this morning? At least according to the correlation, it looks like the yens seem to be moving relatively similarly. So if we can find a good solid opportunity on one, chances are we'll find them on the others as well. Although I don't see anything right now. Just checked Euro, Yen, and Aussie Yen. Pound Yen, I didn't see anything. Aussie Yen, it's actually on a sell signal. So Kiwi Yen, let's have a look. Also on a sell signal. So yen strength is what that means. Yen strength, and then dollar yen. Yeah, still on a sell signal technically, but there's potential for that to start coming back again. Right. We've got how long? Just about a minute and a half to go to the close of the candle. And so that minute and a half, that will tell me, what we're looking at here. Again, if support holds here, I'm okay. If it doesn't, then I'm probably in trouble with this pound Aussie. Okay, about 30 seconds, just under 30 seconds to the close. Let's see what we're looking at. Let's see what we're dealing with. May not be good news for me. This may be a case, and actually I'm starting to think that's it's a possibility that this is a case that this is still looking to fall further down to that trend line there. That's a possibility. Okay, so it did break below support and it did close below support. But again, remember this is an estimate of support, right? Realistically, the real support level is all the way down here. But it did close below it, which is concerning. But let's see what happens. That's all I can do. I got to just wait and see what happens. Okay, and then pound New Zealand. Let's have a look. Yeah, so pound New Zealand, very, very tight consolidation range there. You can see. You've got this as well, where the market's simultaneously making lower highs and higher lows. So in other words, a flagpole pennant, which is not a good sign for me because usually a flagpole pennant will break out in the direction that it was headed anyway. Not always, but usually that is the case, right? So that's not really a great sign for me. but it's not the end of the world either. It's not the end of the trade, certainly, right? It's not the end of the world. Right, okay, I've now been taken in on Aussie dollar, so I'm active now on pound Aussie, pound Kiwi, and Aussie dollar. The fact I've been taken in on Aussie dollar is a good thing. That indicates that the Aussie weakness that I was predicting, or that I was spotting in the market as showcasing itself in the market, is holding, which is good because that bodes well for my pound Aussie position. That bodes well for my pound Kiwi position because of the correlation between the two, the current correlation between the two. And I'm already lighting up in green on Aussie CAD, Euro Aussie, and Euro NZD. So it's definitely Aussie weakness, and it's definitely boding well for all of my positions, both pending and active. Aussie CAD. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and mark this off because obviously I'm now active on Aussie dollar. Like so. Okay. And then Aussie CAD is not really far behind. Euro Aussie and Euro Kiwi also not very far behind. And then these suckers are still being a pain. Aussie yen, that sell signal's coming on though. That's the sell signal's there now. Same thing with Aussie Swiss from the look of it. Yeah, same thing with Aussie Swiss. Okay, so let me have a look and see, because the yens tend to move. So pound yen's not giving me anything though to work with. That's the trouble. Euro yen also not giving me much to work with. I mean, in terms of the signal itself. And as a matter of fact, on Euro JPY, have a look at this. We've actually just fulfilled this this D extension, haven't we? We've just fulfilled this sub D extension right here. This is the sub, right? So two things. First of all, there's a King's Crown, a sub King's Crown, right? I'll show you that now. And that is, of course, with left tip, center tip, right tip, all the way at the 86% retracement. And then look at this. 118 is the target because of that 86% retracement. 1.18 was the target, wasn't it? And so now that this has hit 122.645, let's have a look. 122.645. Okay, now that this has hit, I should actually anticipate a rally here, right? At some point. So, it's, in other words, it's just not a good time for me to look to get in this. It's not a good time on a sell anyway. It's not a good time for me to look to get in this. Let me clean up this chart while I'm in here. I might as well just go ahead and give it a quick little cleanup. Why not? Too much crap going on in here. So let's get rid of it. And I can also get rid of these fins here. They're no longer necessary. Okay. Now this trend line, look at this. This trend line, I've been doing this a long time, folks. This stuff still amazes me. Look at this. That's just beautiful. That's just a beautiful, beautiful trend line. Look at that. That was once support, And of course, based on what I teach you inside of the Ultimate Forex Trading course, past support becomes future resistance, right? You can see how this had acted as resistance, kept the right tip from pushing any further, the right tip of that subcrown there, kept it from pushing up any further. Which meant that ultimately it actually ended up pushing it all the way to its target, to the 118 target. Now, I don't have an official low yet here, so I need to wait for that. But as soon as I get one, I can then come in with my new fibs, my new sub fibs on that Euro JPY. Okay, let me get an update here because it looks like the pounds are still being a pain in my you-know-what. I'm falling. The Bears are really giving them a run for their money this morning. Look at this. Really giving them a run for their money. It's a big fight going on. I still don't see. I'm still confident in the trade though, at least for now. At least for now. I've lost a little bit of confidence in this, as you will when it goes against you like that. But let me see. Not to a point where I'm overly concerned just yet. This is so my next layer of defense here is this low right here. I mean this level right here of support. That's my next line of defense and sort of my very last line of defense. If the market, if the bears manage to break through this, I mean, you can see my stop loss isn't far beyond that point anyway. So if they manage to break through this, I'm toast. That's it. I'm done on this one. And then on pound Kiwi, yeah, see, you've got that really tight consolidation that's causing trouble. Really, really tight. Go back and check on the Aussies here. Okay. As pound Kiwi falls here, yeah, this is probably, I'm probably toast on both of these. Yeah, I'm done on pound Aussie. Shoot. Done on pound Aussie, done on pound Kiwi. That's it, toast. Right, so let me do this. What I want to do is I'm going to come in here and I want to find where this is likely headed to. And like I said to you before, it's probably coming to this outer trend line. That's probably what we've got going on here. All right, let's see. The trouble there, you got kind of trend line break and everything too. Son of a gun. All right, let's see. Yeah, I mean, if anything, there's still room all the way out to here. I had actually said this as a concern before I even got in this as well. All right, so there's nothing I can do here. I have to just wait. It's still technically a buy signal. I mean, this is still technically a buy signal. So, you know, I suspect this is just a temporary thing, and this could still very well, very easily turn around. So, you know, I've just got to wait now and see if I get another opportunity for entry to get back in. I'm still in on pound New Zealand. I haven't been stopped out there. You can see support is holding, starting to push it back. I mean, you know, it ain't over till it's over. Right? It ain't over till it's over. So let's see. It's still technically a buy signal in both cases. It really is. So let's just see what happens. We've got just about 2.5 minutes or so to the close of the candle. And so we'll know very soon if there's going to be additional opportunity there. All right. The correlation's actually not only still strong, it's actually gotten stronger as well. And Pound Cat is trying to join the party from the look of it. The proverbial party. Euro NZD. Yeah, and it's a very similar situation on the euros as well. Very similar situation. Still. Just about a minute now to the close. Just about a minute. It's not looking great for my pound New Zealand trade. It's not looking great. It's come down and made a new lower low. The saving grace there is that if that's to turn into an official low, then this is going to shoot up and give me 2 candles to the north, which will at least, help me to mitigate some of the loss there, at least, right? Alternatively, it could also still hold. It could also still hold. Again, I'm still looking on pound Aussie because, there's still a chance on pound Aussie that I get a new buy signal, like a secondary buy signal in there and a break of that trend line, that counter trend line. In which case, I'm right back in again. All right, right back in again if that's the case. Okay, so support held there, right? And you can see it actually closed above support. And again, if this is to turn into an official low, then that would be my saving grace in terms of, reducing some of the loss there. But it's got to give me an official low to do that. All right. Yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good for my pound New Zealand. Yeah, I'm gonna get stopped out any second. Yeah, there we go. I'm out. Okay, so out on pound New Zealand and out on pound Aussie. Again with pound Aussie looking at room down to that outer trend line there. I don't have a signal at all. There's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can do. If I get a new buy signal, that's a different story. But in terms of a sell signal, there's nothing I can really do here. I'd have to wait for a new buy signal to come in, which, by the way, I still suspect I may get. I may actually still get a buy signal, especially seeing as I'm still lighting up Euro NZD. I'm lighting up, and Aussie CAD I'm lighting up, and my Aussie dollar trade is doing well. So it's still definitely Aussie weakness. There's no question there. It's Aussie weakness, no question. I want to have a look at Aussie Swiss actually, because that appears to be giving off potentially a nice little sell signal there. We're right at resistance. Right at resistance right there. Really good level of resistance as well. Let me come in with some trend lines. Okay, from the high. Okay, perfect. I'm going to grab this next high. Okay, and that's probably good enough for now. Let me come in with some fibs now and see what I'm working with here. All right, so from the high to the low, A to B, C to D, A to B. Okay, first reversal. So it's going to be the new A to B is here. A to B. Nope, it's not. It's down here actually. A to B, like so. And then I've got a 61.8 and a 1.618. There we go. $65.30. Yeah, that's right. Perfect. Then a 61.8 again, and again a 1.618, and we're still very much in a downtrend on this Aussie Swiss. Still very much in a downtrend. So from the high to the D. What's the price point? Hang on. 64.46. No, so that's not it. It's going to be down here. Right there. Okay, perfect. So that's the new AB. Oh, and look at that right there. Just shy of 38.2, it appears to be giving off a sell signal. So my concern there would be that the market would try to come back for that 38.2, right? Now the actual signal here, see where it's coming from, actually appears to be right off of this candle here, this bearish engulfing. So 15 pips above puts me at 18, 65.18. 10 pips below puts me at 64.85. $33 in risk, so 49 in reward. So 64.35, 64.36, 1.6435. 36, which is just there. Not a bad looking signal at all. My one concern, though, again, is the fact that there's that unfulfilled 38.2. The flip side to that, however, is, of course, that we are also at major resistance, right? That's major resistance right there. So I can go ahead and set that up. Okay, so 65.18 for a potential stop, 64.85 for my entry sell stop, and a potential take profit at 64.36. Now, I have now officially been taken in on Euro NZD. I'm lighting up on Euro Aussie and on Aussie CAD as well. So again, further confirming Aussie weakness here. Aussie dollar trade is doing really, really nicely. You son of a gun. Look at this. Pound Aussie and pound. I'm telling you, pound Aussie and pound Kiwi are going to shoot to the north. They just had to make sure to stop me out first. You know, that's the priorities, right? First things first. Let's stop Christopher Guzman out and then send it. I do think it's going to take off like a rocket, though. So I'm just waiting. If support holds here, that is, I do think it's got a good chance of taking off again. So I'm just waiting. What I can do actually is look for the original parameters I had. So pound Aussie, I'll go and plot that out again. Original parameters on pound Aussie, because what I can do is just use that to get in again, right? That's basically what I'm getting at. 82.80 was the entry. Uh, 82.36 was the stop. Son of a gun. I knew that would happen too. Look at that. I knew that would happen. I may have to start adding 5 pips everywhere with the market being the way it's been. And then the target was set at 183.46. Okay. So I can go ahead and set that again, and just kind of set that as like a trap, so that if the market does indeed want to go my way, basically, then it'll just, I've got the original trap set. It'll just take me in again, right? This one here, pound New Zealand, entry at 94.62. Oh, sorry, 63. So that's right, 94.63. Stop at 94.18. Oh, so that's already in place there. So I'm going to go ahead and set both of these up again. Pound Aussie. Actually, I'll start with pound New Zealand because it's right in front of me. Pound New Zealand. That son of a gun. 1.9418 for a stop. 1.9530 for a take profit. And I'm looking at a pending order at 1.9463. Okay, so there's pound New Zealand, and then pound Aussie. You can do the same here as well. Okay, so pound Aussie. Stop at 1.8236. Take profit at 1.8346. And I'm looking at an entry by stop here at 1.8280. Okay, so I've now got all of those right back in place. Okay, I got all those right back in place. So again, if the market decides to go the way it was originally going to go, then, it just takes me in where I was originally getting in anyway. Okay. It just means that I end up, if that ends up being a winning trade, obviously it just means that I've ended up with the win minus obviously the original loss, right? For whatever the net profit would be on that one. Lighten up across the board here. Euro, Aussie, Pound, New Zealand, and Aussie CAD all lighten up in green for me. All lighten up in green for me. And Aussie dollar, of course, still doing quite nicely. Right. So we've got just about 2 minutes to go, just over 2 minutes to go until the close of the candle. And so, we'll hang out for those 2 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the morning. Okay. So just to get a recap here, I originally placed a buy on Pound Aussie and Pound Kiwi. I got stopped out on both, but me being the resilient trader that I am, I've set my pending orders to get right back in again. Right. So if the market starts going my way again, I'm telling the broker, take me in. Right. And then in addition to that, I've also got an active Aussie dollar, US dollar. I'm selling there, obviously. That's doing well. And I've got currently have an active Euro NZD. And yeah, I'm lighting up green across the board, folks. Green across the board. So Aussie CAD about to take me in. There we go. It literally just did, as I said that. Literally just took me in right now. So that's now a new position, new active position. And Euro Aussie, Pound Kiwi, and Pound Aussie are all lighting up for me. So Euro Aussie is probably going to be the next one to take me in based on what I see there, with Pound Aussie and Pound Kiwi not very far behind. But Euro Aussie is probably the next one to take me in, more than likely. I think before, oh yeah, certainly before Pound Kiwi, unless Pound Kiwi spikes, but it doesn't look like it. Okay. And so just under a minute now, just under a minute to the close of the candle. And I have indeed been taken in now on Euro Aussie. Like I said, that was probably going to be the next one to take me in. And that's exactly what's happened. So I'm now active on Euro Aussie as well. Oh, and I've just realized I never outlined my active position on Euro NZD. So let me go ahead and do that too. Okay, so Euro Aussie. Oops. Okay. And then Euro NZD as well now. Okay, so once again, just to recap, I am now actively in on Aussie CAD, Aussie dollar, Euro Aussie, and Euro Kiwi. I'm selling Aussie CAD, selling Aussie dollar, and I'm buying Euro Aussie and buying Euro Kiwi. And then I have 2 pending orders after having originally been stopped out on my original orders there on Pound Aussie and Pound Kiwi both. I now have the pending order set again in the exact same spot, so that again, if the market goes my way, then it'll just pick me up where I left off before, basically. So if I'm in profit on the position by the time it's all said and done, even though I would have taken the loss initially, I would have netted out in profit, right? Right. Okay. With that being said, everybody, that does it for us this morning. Beginning next week, for those of you who missed the announcement yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and repeat it. Let me just bring this up quickly to show you. We are going to be adding in another session to our daily lineup for KickStart PRO programming. And of course, as part of the new launch of everything, as part of the new platform and everything, we are launching a new session, the New York session. And so we're going to be covering that live for you Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. every single week, with exception of next week. So we're launching it next week, but it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday that I'm not able to do this session because I have to take the missus to a doctor's appointment. I can't get out of that. So I'll let you know though, whichever day that is. But if you can make it, that would be fantastic. It should be a good session. The New York session is the other of the two good sessions of the day for trading, because you have that overlap, right? So just like with London, when you have the overlap of Tokyo and London, when New York opens, you then get the overlap of London and New York, right? So you get that little injection of volatility there. So, right, with that being said, that about does it for us this morning, okay? So once again, thanks for being here. Oscar says it looks amazing. Fantastic, Oscar. I'm glad you think so. I hope you all really like the platform once it's officially released, which will be any day now. We've put a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears into it. And yeah, we hope you like it. Anyway, thank you once again. I will be with you again tomorrow, same place, same time. Until then, you know the drill, folks. To your health, wealth, and happiness always, Christopher Guzman signing out and saying good day. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.